Hello everyone and welcome to the 35th episode of the Sci-Fi podcast. Today we'll be talking about the Horizon Forbidden West upgrade fiasco, Sony's showcase later this week, and CD Projekt Red asking for crowdfunding for one of their comics? Question mark. Today though is joining me Josh, Charbs, and Ant.
Yep.
How you doing, guys?
Yep.
Pretty good.
And I'm Jack. So,
And
Charbs, I believe you want to introduce something to us.
yes, breaking news. I saw this earlier today.
This means it's not breaking.
And this is
Old news, but
don't worry about it. It would have been breaking if we recorded when I saw this. But this is reported by Kotaku, and I'm going to read the headline. Ubisoft appoints another white French guy as head creative. So the man in question is, forgive me if I mispronounce it, Igor Mansell. And he's a 20-year veteran of the company who most recently led development on Riders Republic. And he will be taking over as CCO.
Is it Igor?
Yeah, Igor.
So he pulls the lever.
in fairness, well, while they're obviously critiquing the hire based on colour and race, isn't that mostly what you're going to find in France? Wouldn't that be the majority?
Yes, Jack, we're making fun of their decisions, not ours. We don't really care.
I'm just pointing out that the head of a French studio is likely to be a French guy who's probably white because that would be the majority of the country.
That's most of French, yeah.
Yeah, but I just find it funny when Ubisoft used to put this game was made by a diverse team of developers at the front of every Assassin's Creed game, and then you're like, yay, diverse team of developers. None of them are in executive spots.
I mean, some of them were, but they're no longer anymore.
I mean, I get it. Ubisoft is French, but you can't brag about diversity if it doesn't happen on every level of the company. That's how I see it. If you're going to brag about diversity, that's fine. But if you're just going to have a bunch of coloured ethnic people at the bottom and then a bunch of typical white guys at the top, you don't have proper diversity.
Why do you think they do most of the percentages around the people in their team based on the whole team and not the exec team? Why do you think that's a common thing that happens across companies?
But anyway, you know what? I'll be honest. We've spent about a minute and a half on this, and I think that's about
all it deserves?
a minute and 25 seconds more than I wanted.
That's fair.
So, moving on, and another Kotaku headline. Small indie outfit CD Projekt Red asks fans to crowdfund the new Witcher comic. Now, as much as I am not a huge fan of Kotaku, I love that headline. Someone smiled as they wrote that headline.
Oh man, the one guy at Kotaku who knows what they're doing.
I did train to be in journalism, and I appreciate a well-written headline, and that was glorious.
Yep.
That's pretty great.
Just as a heads
I
up,
will say this.
Some companies literally just hire headline writers because you need to be that switched on. It's hard. Making good headlines, so respect.
The moment I saw this article's headline and I saw small indie outfit CD Projekt Red, my brain immediately switched to, oh god, what have they fucked up now with Cyberpunk?
Well, it's actually not that. They want to crowdfund a Witcher comic called The Witcher Ronin.
Yeah, it's a nice breath of fresh air that it's not bad Cyberpunk news.
Well, I mean, maybe that's part of the reason to crowdfund it, right?
I'm sorry, if you're as big and profitable as CD Projekt Red, don't forget, they're still extremely profitable. Cyberpunk financially was a huge success. Even after all the backlash, even after the returns, it still easily put them in very nice profit margins. So to turn around and be like to the fans, hey, you know how we haven't catastrophically fucked up The Witcher? Yeah, we thought we'd make a comic. And everyone goes, yeah. Let's get them to crowdfund it and then buy the comic.
Ooh.
It's not what you should have done at this point in time. If you want to crowdfund it,
it's a bit strange,
you have to do it after. You have to do it after a successful project. You can't come off a bad project and then say to the fans, we want you to pay for our next one.
Well, then, I can't believe they're crowdfunding a comic. They don't have comic money?
Well, they're not just trying to capitalize.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
They're not just trying to capitalize on the Witcher fans. They're trying to capitalize on weebs as well. I mean, look, it's set in like Japan.
The Witcher Weeb edition. Yeah, no, I'm gonna ask this. Comic Kickstarters, 90% of the time, the thing that they're kickstarting is like distribution and like printing. Are you telling me CD Projekt Red doesn't have the money and connections to
If
do
you
that
can
themselves?
publish a game globally, you can publish a comic globally.
Well, another thing is, are you telling me CD Projekt Red, who's such a huge company,
A small indie
and
developer.
The Witcher, which is now such a well-known franchise, they couldn't find a publisher to bankroll this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
Like-
telling me that you didn't go up to like... I'm surprised it didn't just go up to like DC or Marvel Comics or Vertigo, of all people,
Like-
or Dark Horse, or anyone, and just go, hey, we want to make a comic with the
And they have
Witcher.
had comics before. I think it was like Omnibus or something like that. I can't remember.
So anyone who heard our early podcasts know my feelings on crowdfunding, right?
I believe that was
Long
the
story
first
short,
step.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was the first
I think
step.
it might have been. That was Genesis. But I think like the only time I see crowdfunding as a legit option for people is when there's no other way of getting it done. If you've hit a roadblock, and in the case of a comic, let's say you need to pay for printing and distribution, no publishers will take you, and you obviously can't do it, in your fucking garage or whatever, then I understand crowdfunding that. But CD Projekt Red are still sitting on a fucking mountain of money.
Yeah, they've got a bit. They've got a little bit of money.
The people will pay for this.
In fairness, I'm just having a look. Their stock price has dropped a little bit since releasing
Stock price
CD Projekt
isn't
Red,
super
suspiciously?
relevant.
No. Look, it's not an excuse whatsoever. It's still a massive company. I was just looking at it for interest.
Yeah, I don't think that stock prices are super relevant when it comes to like gaining funding for something.
No, probably not.
But like, if
It
they
was
really
more
wanted to play
like in my
safe,
head. It was like, were they on hard times? No.
Yeah.
No, they were not.
And not just that, but The Witcher's been branching off into other
I was
media.
going to say, when
mean,
you
it
can make
started
a
as book-
massive Netflix series,
It started-
you know.
That's my point. It started as a book series. It became a very successful series of games, especially the third one in that series. And then and now it's a hugely successful Netflix show. Like, there is value in the IP of The
Correct.
Witcher, right? But I'm gonna say this here. The game industry is about momentum. It's about momentum. If you have a good project, right, and the fans love you and they love what you're doing, you have to keep that going for as long as possible, right? CD Projekt Red did, but they obviously stumbled with Cyberpunk. Now, when you have a bad project or a project that makes you look bad for any reason, your job is to correct that as quickly as possible. That is your job. People now, right, Cyberpunk was such a huge, I don't know what you would call it, letdown. I wouldn't say disaster because they came out of it very profitable, but it did irreparable damage to the brand of CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
And this is like coming off a major injury in sports. You need to build yourself back up. And telling people we want you to pay for our next production is not the way to do it.
No.
Especially when it's a comic. Like, look, I don't know how much publishing a comic makes, but I know that it would be far less than a AAA game. So it just speaks of weird, not desperation, but it's just quite odd, right? Like, what? Is a crowdfunding project in itself a marketing tool?
It can be.
It can be, depending on how it's used.
So is
I
that
reckon.
what they're trying
Because-
to do?
Yeah.
That's the only
I fucking
logic.
doubt it.
That's the only logical
Okay, so-
thing.
In games, I can see that like a lot of the time, kickstarting a game can be used as like a thing to show a publisher and go, hey, we got like this is our foundation. Like we prove that this game can make money. Give us more money to make it, and we'll give you a profit. But with a comic, you really, as I said, you really are just funding. you really are just funding the distribution of it.
No, but
Because the art has to be majority done to even put a Kickstarter up.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah,
what
I
I
mean,
read was that they were encouraging the crowdfunding so they could hire more talented artists.
I'd expect
Look,
like this comic to be pretty, like, chunky.
Look,
Top tier, yeah.
I'm gonna say this, right? There have been, like, I'm not heavily into comics. I do have an appreciation for comics, though.
Yeah.
And there are some fantastic comics
Oh, yeah.
and gorgeous looking comics that have been done by very small teams. I'm sorry, but, and the idea of using crowdfunding as marketing, if we use Josh's example, like, CD Projekt Red aren't looking to, like, they don't need to prove themselves to anyone. They're CD Projekt Red. It's different with games, I feel, because with games, right, like, when people see, like, oh, there's Kickstarter goals, maybe they, like, there's a certain Kickstarter goal they want to, like, to reach, and the whole point of crowdfunding is people feel involved. Like, when that product comes out, people want to look and be like, holy shit, I helped get this made. I helped bring this into existence. But this isn't something brand new or anything. Like, CD Projekt Red has told stories in written form before. And I'm fairly certain CD Projekt Red has some very talented artists.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think this is just them trying to, I guess, divert attention away from whatever they're doing with their games. Because, I don't know if you guys heard, but we also got told that the PS5 versions of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk were not going to be released this year, most likely. So this might just be them trying to draw attention away from that because that was like a negative thing.
Yeah.
And it's a way for them to show, like, hey, we're still working on stuff.
So
That's personally
to give
what I
you
think.
some context, it's 100 full color pages, 45 extra pages, and 10 extra pages, which are all Kickstarter goals. So 155 pages
It's a
if
book.
they reach their Kickstarter.
Okay, so that's like that sounds like a graphic novel, like in terms of size.
That's what it looks
But-
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here. Yeah, as I said, CD Projekt Red really shouldn't be kickstarting this. It has to be some sort of marketing scheme, because I don't think they need the help.
That's my thought.
Like, I think they could go through more traditional channels to do this. Like,
I think,
don't like.
sorry.
Sorry, I just want to say this. I don't like big companies using crowdfunding at all. Mainly because I see crowdfunding as something for people who can't get a publisher.
At
Like,
worst.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to
No,
say, at worst, someone might look at that and say it shows that CD Projekt Red aren't even confident in this publication, because someone's going to look and be like, holy shit, The Witch has been so successful, but CD Projekt Red aren't even confident to throw their own money at this. You know, and it's... I honestly, it's baffling. I can't imagine what the meeting looked like when someone pitched using crowdfunding and how it was accepted.
As of this time, and it's been fluctuating back and forth, is up to 638,621 Australian dollars. From
What was their goal?
I think it was only like 200,000.
Well, it's getting made, and I mean, the downside to being like a huge, like, as big as CD Projekt Red and crowdfunding is you now have no excuse not to shit the bed and not deliver on this. You're big, you have resources, and you have the money you asked for.
This thing has to have a hardcover. If it doesn't, then what's the point?
Oh, it actually is a hard copy.
It's a hard copy? Okay.
Yeah. Look, it looks
I feel
great,
like
and all the images and like beautiful designs they've got. It looks good, but yeah, I don't know.
Because I expect
mean,
it to be like, you know, if it was a comic and it came with like, content from the comic, I'd expect it to double as something else as well.
I almost see this as like this would have been like a cool extra thing to get with like a game. Like, if you buy The Witcher 3 for pre-order it for like $500 and you get the comic.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
God,
if you get
can
a
I
collector's...
complain?
You may complain.
It has one of the add-ons is an official tote bag. Who needs more tote bags?
What's a tote bag for?
To carry all the stuff
are you
you get
using
from
it
other
for?
conventions, and then you throw out the tote bag once you get home.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it goes into a
I'd
closet
throw it
where you
out
have
of a
your
tote
50
bag.
other tote bags you got from everything else, and you end up with a tote
Essentially-
bag nightmare.
A tote bag is like for people who want a bag that's just small enough they can't fit all their shit in it. That is the
such
purpose of a tote bag.
Good description.
In other words, it's good enough for recycling.
Oh,
Pretty much.
man.
Look, I honestly think that this is something that we just got to see. I have a bad feeling about this. I'm calling it from now. I've got a terrible feeling about this.
Do you think this ends up like
Right.
Fallout 4's little bags?
Oh,
Sorry, not
no,
4.
76. And surely, look, if they can fuck this up as hard as like Bethesda fucked that up, I'd be fucking impressed at
That
this
would be
point.
impressive. Alright,
That was like an all-time.
I'm going to move us on.
Now,
Because we've talked about that for too long.
please.
So, Sony's been in the news for a little... You know, they had this cool showcase of showing off all the additions that you were going to get for Horizon Forbidden West. And they mentioned that you weren't going to be able to upgrade the standard editions from PS4 to PS5. You basically going to have to buy the game.
Yeah.
So it's been a few days. They thought about all the critique they got from online angry gamers. They said, you know what? You guys are right. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. We might reverse that
That wasn't
decision.
the best idea.
And they did.
Again, as I said with CD Projekt, I don't know who was behind this, but they really shot themselves in the foot.
So there was conjecture over whether or not they promised this. And let me tell you that they basically did from all the posts and evidence that people showed. Because people were complaining of like, oh no, they were talking about all the launch titles were getting the PS4 to PS5 upgrade. But Horizon Forbidden West wasn't one of those. That I'm going to call that now. That's bullshit. Because the PS5 open reveal showcase had Forbidden West as part of that in the fall, pretty sure it was fall launch window, which was now until the end of the year. You don't get to back out just because you delayed the game. That's still a launch window
Yeah, I
game.
can-
Guess what? So was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Difference is, that was exclusive.
Yeah.
Again,
Damn good
it
exclusive
wasn't.
too.
But what I'm saying is, it wasn't a launch title. It was a launch window. However you want to... I don't feel like a year should be your launch window, but that's another thing.
Yeah, I feel like the first 6 to 9 months, I would personally consider the launch window.
I'm not even saying 9 months,
Oh.
6 months.
Yeah, I can accept that.
Yeah.
I let them stretch it out a bit longer now because
My guessing is they
unfortunately, in
probably
this day and
wanted
age-
Forbidden West released middle of this year, if not around about now. And little pandemic happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, between the pandemic and the fact that games these days take up so much resources, so much manpower, I think they just needed a bit more time with it, which is perfectly
But you don't
fine.
get to back out of promises you made. Because you push it back.
No, absolutely not.
So they then added on that future games that were cross-gen would have a $10 PS4 to PS5 upgrade fee.
Does that only apply
I'm okay
to-
with that.
Does that only apply
I'm okay
to
with that.
first-party PlayStation games, or is this every single cross-gen game?
I think they were talking about anything that they were bringing,
Okay.
essentially.
Because, I don't know, I'm still annoyed
It seemed
by
like
myself.
Sony specific.
I'm still personally annoyed by it myself because, we've got, free options between, cross-gen, and then they have to be the ones that are, the special ones.
Look, it does make them look bad when you're comparing someone like Xbox, which, I'm sorry, but the comparison's going to get made when You buy the game from Microsoft, and essentially, you want to play on your Xbox? Cool. You want to play on your PC? Cool too.
Whatever.
Yeah, and
I
look at that and then look back at Sony and think, what makes you so special?
Look, I think they've taken their success from the PS4, and there's a little bit of arrogance going on with PS5, and Xbox is sort of doing all the right things because they're having to play catch up, but they're
not sort of. They are.
Yes, but they're doing everything right. There aren't
Yes.
too many decisions Microsoft has specifically made out of spite of the consumer. And I say this not playing a whole lot of Microsoft games, not having ever had an Xbox. I can respect the decisions from afar.
So, here's the thing, right? I've always believed, not just with games, but with any sort of technology, right? Your main goal is to push things forward. And the problem is now we've been lucky enough to be in a situation where, like, you could put in a PS4 disc and some games will have a PS5 version ready for you to download. And we're like, holy crap, that's fucking awesome. And that's at no extra cost.
Yeah.
So for Sony to turn around and be like, well, now, like the PS3 to PS4 thing, you have to pay. Because I remember a few games did that. It feels like a step back. Like, why have you backtracked on this?
Yeah.
Like, you're Sony, and you're, like, recently they came out and talked about how the PS5 has sold very well. So, I mean, it's not like you're hurting for money.
It was also a bit weird
like,
because a lot of the other editions gave you the upgrade. It was digital, but it gave you the upgrade, and you were like, why?
Yeah.
Why not the base?
Yeah, one of the strange ones was like this is like literally the start of like the PS5's launch. Like, you remember like Spider-Man, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the only way you can get like the PS5 upgrade for Spider-Man is two different ways. The one way you can get it for free is if you get Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. You just get Spider-Man Game of the Year PS5 edition for free from that. Any other way, you have to pay for it again.
I don't think they sold it separately, though.
They did. Because you can buy...
Are you sure?
Oh, don't take my word for it.
Because I distinctly remember Sony saying, we're not going to sell Spider-Man Remastered separately.
Don't take my word for it, but we might have to check the store later, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
we will.
But
yeah. But yeah, no, because I remember there was the people were up in arms about that because they were like, "Wow, so you've made Spider-Man Remastered for the PS5, but we can only get it by buying the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition." There was a huge thing about that.
And any differences is, of course, performance, which is what we expect. But then there's like the changes to Peter Parker's face, which was pretty like diverse in opinions.
What I'm reading is I think you could actually just buy the PS4 CD, and that would work fine.
You can, but you don't. You can play the PS4 version on the PS5, but you don't get like the PS5 remastered upgrades.
Yeah, you don't. And if you have the PS4 version, you basically need to have the DLCs. Like, you have to buy them again. Whereas if you get the Game of the Year edition for the PS5 version, it comes with the DLCs as expected.
I will honestly say this. You know what? I was someone who bought Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PS5 at launch. And I will say this, I enjoyed Miles Morales, but I think Insomniac and Sony delivered a good enough product on Spider-Man 2018 that I was happy to pay for the remaster because I never played the DLCs. And as for the changes made to Peter Parker's face, I'm going to be a bit of an arsehole here, but I think fans overreacted. I can see that. I saw people, right, commenting on Twitter saying, this isn't the Spider-Man we grew up with. I'm like, grew up with? He's been out for 15 minutes. Like, people, honestly, I saw someone say they developed an attachment to that Spider-Man. And I was just like, there's been one game. It was a good game, but, like, this isn't a Peter Parker we've seen for 20, 30, 40 years. This is the first time we're seeing this, Peter. It's the first time we're seeing this story.
But what about the people who are critiquing it, saying that it doesn't look like it's actually his age? Because the Peter Parker we got from the PS4 version looked older. Like, you could believe he had like 7 years of Spider-Man experience. Whereas you look at PS5's Peter Parker.
And he looks like he's in his early
Look,
20s.
I didn't like the change, but I didn't understand the why.
Well, the official reason that was given by, I believe, Insomniac was they wanted to change the face to better resemble Spider-Man's voice actor, who was, I think, Yuri Lowenthal. And so they said that it would make, like, actually remastering it easier because with facial animations and things like that. Which I think is a completely viable reason.
Look, I understand
It's
that.
perfectly fine.
I think it hurt my brain.
But
It hurt
the
my
funny
brain
thing is,
playing through one game, and then you
But-
play
but-
through the other, and look at the difference. And yeah,
my favourite thing is when that reason came out and somebody were like, hey, this is why we did it. People who have... I'm going to say this. I hate this term, but people who are armchair developers sat there and were like, oh, yeah, but like you totally didn't have to change it. And you're like, man, are you going to tell one of the most, I guess, awarded game developers in the world how to do their job? You, sitting behind your fucking computer screen. These are people who spent 10 minutes in Unity and suddenly think they're game developers.
They're the Unreal guy who spent an hour making Mario's Castle.
They put Sonic into like Unreal Engine and then people are like, yeah, Sega hire me.
Insomniac, hire this
Hire
man.
this man.
Shall we move on?
so we'll still talk about Sony, and because part of my suspicion is they tried to smooth this all over for their little showcase later this week. So like, oh hey guys, look at all the good stuff we're going. Come watch our showcase and please buy stuff. Don't be too mad. Because Sony have a showcase later this week. They've talked about it as being the future of the PS5. Now, what the hell do we think that means?
We're gonna see some new shit.
Look, I would hope some
Fantasy
new shit.
16, please.
What I'm really hoping is that we just don't get... I don't need more... I'm not trying to go back to it. I don't need to see more Forbidden West. Give us some new stuff. Give us some actual stuff that hasn't been seen, whether it's a God of War. Give me basically anything that's new. I don't need a 40-minute showcase of stuff I've already seen enough gameplay of that I don't need to be convinced that I need to buy.
Yeah, I don't want to see more of Forbidden West because we've seen like, as you said, like 40 minutes
seen-
of that already.
We've seen more than enough of Forbidden West. I'm already... you've got me, alright?
Yeah,
That-
any
that's
more
got
would be
me.
a spoiler. Any more would
Correct.
be a spoiler.
That's where I don't need more. There'll probably be something, but it doesn't need to be long, please.
Probably.
If it's 40 minutes, which is what they've given, don't let it be more than 2 minutes, please.
I personally, I
20 minutes of Forbidden West.
20 another hour of Forbidden West. You get to see the entire beginning of the game. It's like, no, don't.
Look, after the last week, they would be wise to maybe just not talk about Forbidden West.
All right, I want to ask you a question. If you could only see one thing at this Sony showcase,
Final
what do you-
Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16, please!
Bitch, give me
no,
Final
I meant-
Fantasy fucking 16.
I meant stuff that hasn't been announced.
No, my dude, you'll see, like, if you watch the newest WWE, you'll see Amph in the background with a poster going, Final Fantasy 16, please.
Actually, yeah, you laugh. You laugh, but people are still doing it.
They are.
Oh.
Dude, I love that.
Of course they are. So, mine is the rumours that are going around about a new Infamous game.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
please inject it into my veins, Sony.
Fucking... I need that. I've still got to finish 2 and Second Son, but I'm down for another Infamous.
Look, I'm hoping my golden would absolutely... I'd fall in love.
But...
Would
hear
be
me out.
if they announce a 1 and 2 remaster and a new game.
By Blue Point?
What?
Actually, that's a good point. What are Blue Point doing?
Yeah.
What are Blue Point doing? Who knows?
Because they did the Dark Souls,
Demon
not Dark
Souls.
Souls,
Demon
Demon
Souls,
Souls
yeah.
remake.
Look, my only fear with that is that they sort of showcase this as future of PS5, so my brain thinks you're probably not talking about remasters.
PS6.
Lol.
PS6.
No, I'm talking about the future of the PS5 specifically. So unless the PS5 is no longer
So
unless they
there
can't
are,
make
there
it
are two
anymore.
things.
The PS5 2.
There are two.
Oh god, don't joke
There are
with
two
that
things
one.
that would make me.
PS5 2.
There are two things that would make me absolutely flip if they showed up at the showcase. There's no evidence that this is going to happen, right? This is just what I would love to see. Number one would be a new PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah.
There were rumors
Is that
a
because
few
they want
years
to
ago
compete
that
with the Nintendo one?
it's just because I
Yeah, the niche Nintendo game.
I
Small
would fucking
developer
love a new one.
Nintendo.
But no, like honestly, there were rumors a few years ago that there was one in the works, a sequel to the 2013 PS All Stars called, I believe it was called PlayStation All Stars Arena, and that was the rumored name that it was going to have. But the other thing that I would like to see, which I'll be honest is probably more likely, so we know now ever since that PS5 reveal event that a new version of Grand Theft Auto is coming to the PS5. We know it's GTA 5. It's going to be called GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced. So it wouldn't surprise me if that showed up there. But recently, rumors started swirling from many like well-known and reputable quote-unquote leakers that there is a GTA trilogy remaster, which features GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. And if, say, for example, they show off the new, what the new enhancements are for GTA 5 on PS5, and then at the end of it, it goes to a black screen, and you just hear that spray can from the start of San Andreas' opening, where it's like, and it's like showing the Rockstar logo, that would make me fucking flip. Like, I'm sorry, I would go nuts if that happened.
You know what else would make you flip? If they
What?
announced a PS5 update for Bloodborne.
But see, here's my thing. It's not the future of the PS5, which makes me think it's not happening. It's just the way they worded it.
PS5 is just remakes.
Look, I'll take the remakes, to be honest. If it's Bloodborne and Infamous, I'll take the remakes. Just
Bloodborne
not
2!
in line-
Actually, no, please give me Bloodborne
Look,
2.
that's a pipe dream. I was going to
That
mention
is a
that.
pipe
That's
dream.
my pipe dream announcement, but it's not happening.
It's not.
Well, I remember a few years ago in one of some.
I think I've
From
given up with
Software's,
Bloodborne too.
Like, in one of From Software's releases, it was one of their, I think, smaller games. It was a VR game, I think. They put a Bloodborne Easter egg, and this was in, like, I think 2017 or 2018. So everyone went nuts and said, "Oh my god, they're making Bloodborne 2!" Everyone went fucking nuts. And then From Software came out and were like,
Oh, no.
we just liked Bloodborne. That's why we put the Easter egg in. We're not working on
No,
Bloodborne 2.
they're working on.
Why not?
And then
They're working on Bloodborne Kart.
they're working
Bloodborne
on...
Cut. Bloodbirth, the prequel.
Apparently,
what they're
apparently
working on-
they thought they went overboard with that Easter egg, and Miyazaki was sorry for getting your hopes up.
What they're making is Bloodborne 0.8 Final Remix Dream Drop Distance Goodnight Final Mix. Right,
Elder
Ant?
Evil Suck My Dick episode 3.2.
So this has been the Safe File podcast. I'm gonna leave right now.
This has been Amp exiting stage left.
Oh no.
I tell you what, they are working on Elder Ring, but we've seen enough of. Oh wait, no, we have not seen enough of that. But never mind.
I was gonna say.
Well,
Is there a sequel to Elden Ring?
Will they show Elden Ring though?
I don't think that's not a PS5 exclusive. Though,
Yeah,
so
that's
they
my
won't.
thing. I didn't think. Yeah.
Probably at TGS.
I mean, I will say, because Sony said this is about the future of the PlayStation 5, right? Because you've worded it like that, I would hope
You're stealing my
that-
idea here. I know where this is going.
I would hope that everything that gets announced in some way, shape, or form is benefiting PS5 users. If it's a exclusive game, that's great. If it's a multi-platform game but PlayStation 5 users are getting something extra out of it, or we're getting console exclusivity, or we're getting it earlier than other consoles, then that's fine. But what I don't want is for them to be like, this is the future of the PS5, and they show like a random game that's releasing on Xbox, Switch, and PC, and the fucking Stadia the same
Okay, I
day.
thought you were going to mention what I joked to you about, which was they talked about the future of the PS5, so they're going to bring back the Ratchet and Clank Future trilogy.
I would love that. I would love to go through the Future trilogy again. I was meaning
Look,
to
I don't
play
think we
it
need to
leading
go
up
over it
to.
again. We know.
I was meaning to play it leading up to Rift Apart, but I finished Tools of Destruction, Crack in time. I just never got to Nexus in time. So I would love to go back and play.
But yeah,
it,
well, what you're
especially if they're going to be enhanced.
what you're saying with trying to actually have like PS5 enhancements and like actually useful stuff, I think that would be in line with expectations. You'd think, like, show us off some of the stuff that maybe it's like a cool update that's actually going to benefit us. I don't know, don't care, as long as it's actually useful to people who own a PS5.
What if
Not
one
just,
of the...
yeah,
Sorry.
everyone... No, not just like, as you're saying, like, oh, this is also releasing on Xbox, but we're showing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they're also announcing... Like, what if they announce the Last of Us Remake? The one that people have been speculating.
What the hell? Why would they remake
Apparently
it?
that's what people have been speculating.
Yeah, it's been a speculation. I suppose the future of the PS5 then would be in the dumpster fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and throw it on my console.
So-
I don't know why that needs a remake, man.
No, it doesn't need a remake. Why? Whatever you want to say about the second game, first game had one of the best stories we've ever played in a video game, and you don't need a remake that.
They're gonna try and George Lucas it.
And it really
But, like-
wasn't dated. It's not dated.
But you can play The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, and then by I guess proxy on the PS5 because you can just play the PS4 version.
Yeah, what if like that?
It doesn't.
What if that announcement was just?
It doesn't need anything.
What if that announcement was just the PS5 like enhancement to that edition?
Like it wouldn't surprise me if they did release another version where it takes advantage of the controller's features. But like,
oh god, clickers would be really
really
scary with haptic feedback.
Fuck yeah!
I'll be honest. There are other
feel like
games
that's more
that you
likely,
could bring
actually.
to the PS5.
Yeah.
I feel like there are much better alternatives than bringing Last of Us 1 back again.
Not saying that would be a waste of their time, but that's exactly what I'm thinking.
If anything, Naughty Dog needs to go back to their platforming roots, as in go back to Jack and Daxter. And I'm not saying Crash Bandicoot because they don't own it anymore, but Jack and Daxter.
So
Please
would you
bring
be?
Jack and Daxter back.
Would you, Amph, what would you do if they were like Jack and Daxter 4?
I'd go back to like my
I'd be down.
I'd whip out my PS2 because I don't have the HD collection and be like, all right.
I was going to say, what if they announce a collection? Here's here's a
Well,
new game, but also all the previous ones.
Or
Well, you can play the Jack and Daxter collection on the PS4 and on the PS5.
Oh
already.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Because,
But having
if
them
you-
all
if
bundled
you-
in one game is nice, or package, rather.
Like a Blue Point remaster.
Blue Point's got to be doing something.
like an insane trilogy.
Because it's not like good old who's working on Diablo Resurrected? Sorry, my brain's gone.
Oh, Vicarious.
Yeah, some like
Visions.
Vicarious Visions is out there to do more race remasters, so we've only really got Blue Point at this point.
Yeah, can we not talk about the Blizzard salt mines where Vicarious Visions are now working?
Ugh.
Ugh, man, that was heartbreaking. I think I talked about it on an earlier
did.
episode of the podcast. Yeah,
Sorry to bring it up, I just was
Such a
like,
shame.
who else do we know that's good for remasters? And yeah,
well, there is someone else, but they're owned by Activision, I think.
well,
Toys for Bob.
Yeah, they're owned by Activision.
they could show up.
Could they?
But you know
To
what?
be honest, I feel
My
like it's more
favourite-
Sony exclusive, is what this event feels
Yeah.
like, and from everything we're seeing, that's the vibe I'm getting.
My favorite thing, though, going back to those Grand Theft Auto remasters, is the rumors are it's being made with Unreal Engine, and I'm like, I really, really want to see what Rockstar can do with an engine like Unreal.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much you guys know about it, but the original, like that trilogy of games were made with renderware, and renderware was great. But the thing is, the year after San Andreas released, renderware was purchased by, well, not renderware itself, but Criterion, who made renderware, was purchased by EA. So it would make sense that they wouldn't want to, I guess, like try to get the license to use renderware again. I honestly would love to see what people want to... The only thing is now, you know those videos you see where people are like, oh, Jack and Daxter Remake 2021, and it's just a model of Jack running around in an Unreal Engine environment. Those people are going to be like, see, Rockstar can do it.
They hired this man.
He finally got a job.
I would love it if Sega did like a showcase of a new Sonic game, and it was just Sonic running around a barren green wasteland in Unreal Engine.
I would absolutely fucking do that in April Fools.
Speaking of the blue blur...
That would be amazing. Well, don't worry, we hired this man.
Speaking of the blue blur, we've all heard what's happened like a couple days ago now. About the...
you want to take us through it?
Yeah, Sonic Colors. So Sonic Colors Ultimate, right? The new HD remaster that's coming out on PS4 and Switch. In, I think, the Epic Store. But yeah, anyway, so the Switch version in particular has known to have, like, some major graphical glitches that, people have been sharing on, like, Twitter and stuff. There's one of them where, or not even just graphics, like, textures going out of whack and...
Are you telling me Colors is more than just a fun name they've given it?
It's living up to its name for sure.
Sonic epilepsy.
So there was one footage where the freaking like the screen goes absolutely like ballistic. It's flashing rainbows. Like, Sonic's model was turning into a fish for some reason.
That's some pretty bad glitching.
The black hole that you have to outrun on the last level. Its textures are just... It just won't load, so you can't see, like, the particles in the background. It's just, like, white boxes and shit.
It's actually a more realistic representation of what happens when you fall into it.
It's actually just hard... It's just hard mode.
Yeah. So, yeah...
And then the fish is just Sonic's true form.
Yes, this is true form.
Sonic was actually a fish
the whole
time.
time.
The entire time.
But the story doesn't end there, though. There has been this one Twitter user, forgot his name already. He loaded the game up on his Yuzu emulator, which is a Switch emulator. But before that was announced and everything, he was sharing out all these like footage of the game glitching out as all shit. And then he comes out and says, "Oh, these came from like the emulator," and everyone's going, "Oh shit, that's why it's glitching out." However, that's also not true because people have been sharing stuff from their Switch, and the game has been glitching out there. So, what I don't get is why are they like supplying this as of now if it's this incomplete and this glitchy?
Because person at the top says, get the game out, and person below says, it's not ready to ship, and the person up top says, ship it anyway, Jim!
Yeah.
That's what happens.
The people who did the remaster, apparently they didn't have any experience with the Switch. So, that would have not been good. I'm trying to find out who did the remaster of Ultimate. Give me a second. It's been done by
Blind Squirrel Games.
Yeah, Blind Squirrel Games, and they've done a couple of like remasters before, like the Mass Effect like Legendary Edition and BioShock like the collection. Those came out relatively good. Like we all know that they worked and people get them today. But then they land on Sonic and this happens.
Whoops. Look, hopefully they just patch it and fix everything up and it's all good. So some of the glitches, I'm just looking at them, I'm like, oh god. If I had any issues with looking at stages and stuff, some of these would... Yeah.
Mess you up good, yeah.
It'd mess you up.
It's a shame, because, Sonic's current name in terms of, like, games isn't, like, consistently good. Like, there are a lot of fans who are... Like, there are a lot of fans out there that stick with the Blue Blur because, you know, they've been fans for a long time. Or
So,
they're like,
so Sonic's license is given out like Warhammer license. It's given out to anyone and anyone, and they're just hoping something sticks.
pretty much.
And a lot of it doesn't.
Well, then again, no, not really, because when it comes to Sonic, the Sonic Mania, who what is his name, Christian Whitehead, he was like a ROM hacker before or something like that. He made like Sonic Mania, and that came out as like one of the most successful Sonic games as of recently.
Yeah, he made a fan game.
Yeah, and then when Sega made, because I don't think Sonic Team is really a thing now. I don't think. Sega made their Sonic game, which was Sonic Forces. That game came out with not so positive fanfare compared to Mania.
Yeah.
Man, Sonic Forces had everything it needed to succeed. A Sonic OC maker? Are you kidding me? How did you fail that?
They took out one of the most like basic features that the current boost games have, which is drifting. In Sonic Forces, you can't drift, which sounds awkward, especially when you have like those curves going at full speed. So I don't know. Like, the Blue Blur seems to be having more success outside of games these days. You know, you got the movies, you got the comics. But games...
Success with the movie?
I'd say success.
Alright, fine. I don't know. That was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you fucked up the emulator crowd. We're gonna have to go into hiding for a while.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go into our anti-piracy bunker.
Quick hide.
You can't get me in here.
You can't get me alive, Nintendo ninjas.
Nintendo ninjas. They're the same people who kept cutting down all the Mario Party and Smash Bros streams, right?
Yeah.
Won't give out $10 tournament prizes.
Yeah, they've been shutting down like Smash tournaments as well as of recently.
You know, it's... Oh dear. So we'll move on. Charbs, one of your favourite developers, Suda51, also better known as Suda Gucci, or Gotchi. I'm probably... Look, we practiced this beforehand and I've probably just butchered it. And,
I literally told you how to pronounce it.
Did you say Suda Gucci or Suda Gochi?
Look, I think I've done it both now, and I'm in trouble for both.
Just call him Suda51.
Which is what I should have done. Anyway.
That's pretty
what I
Gucci.
Oh, God. Anyway, he has encouraged fans to grab merch for his game via Red Ribbon, which he probably means Redbubble, when asked on I think it was a stream, because he was wearing a t-shirt from Redbubble, and it was like basically all about No More Heroes, but everyone was like, "Cool shirt, man, where'd you get it?" And he's like, "Well, we're not selling it, but go to Redbubble and you can get some merch." So he basically just encouraged, go get some bootleg shirts, not from our company.
I made the joke earlier, like, can you imagine being like a publisher working with him? You've made this amazing game, and you're like, all right, we've got ideas for merch, and he's just posted, go get your shit from Redbubble.
Speaking of No More Heroes, you Charbs have succeeded in your blackmail to get me to play the games.
Hey, it's not blackmail. I just made a strong suggestion that you play the game.
Listen, we don't know what race this male is.
Well, we can always roll back another 2 episodes just to jog your memory a little bit.
So I finally got amped to play No More Heroes. And not only did he play No More Heroes, but before he finished the first game, he messaged me and he said, "Bro, I'm enjoying this so much, I bought No More Heroes 2 and I have to play through it."
You got the hooks in him.
There are very few things that will make me like, that'll give me like a smug face and a sense of satisfaction, but them liking a game that I recommended, it hits.
100%. I know that feeling.
Me,
Honestly, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're enjoying
you
it.
one day when I play Red Dead 2. One day.
Jack,
One
why
day.
don't you play Red Dead 2?
Because I fear what it will do to me.
It's alright, Jack. One day I'll help. I'll touch Hades.
That game's a...
You will lose your existence if you do
That
that.
game's love, though. That game's so good. Hey, it's going to win Game of the Year again this year because everyone on Xbox has just discovered it because it's just been released on consoles. So I think it was via Game Pass. So everyone on Xbox has gone absolutely nuts, and everyone's going, "Oh my god, this game's so great!"
I actually really do want to play Hades. It looks
should.
really good.
Because it is good.
Yeah, let me tell you, my dude, it's a good
It's
game.
amazing.
Oh, it's Gucci? Sweet.
It's
What have
Gucci.
you got it on, Josh?
I've got it on Steam.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you had it on Switch because I've heard a lot of people prefer, even when it's like just on PC, people prefer to play it on controller. And a lot of speedrunners play it on controller.
No, people definitely prefer. It's definitely one of those games that does function better with a controller.
I've only done it on
You don't want
PC,
everything-
so
the buttons all
maybe
there.
I need to venture over if I want to go higher. Who knows?
Also, Charbs to, expand on the whole No More Heroes thing. I am very tempted to get No More Heroes 3 now.
The only reason I have not picked up the third game is because I never got around to playing Travis Strikes Again, so I bought that, and I'm going to finish that before I play the third. But all signs point to the third being fantastic.
Yeah, I want to order it, after I get my package from JB Hi-Fi for Tales of Arise, which comes out in 2 days. Yeah, so when that arrives, because I saw No More Heroes being really cheap at JB Hi-Fi. It's $69, so I'll order it from them again.
Yes, guys, that's cheap for us. For all the American listeners, $69 is a cheap game for us.
Very cheap.
Man.
Nice.
I just got my PS5, and that $125 price mark really hit home
Oh, yeah.
right now.
Yeah, can we talk about
my
you
God.
buying? Can we talk about you buying a PS5?
Hang on, side note,
Nah, well
Josh. Order
So-
from Amazon. this
Nah, well
podcast is not
yeah, I will
sponsored by
order from
Amazon,
Amazon,
but
no
they are
problems.
cheaper. All our all
No one wants to
Australian
hear about that,
listeners.
No. We're going to talk about this, right?
Nah, I can't imagine why anyone would want to know.
I know where this is going.
So for a long time, right, Josh has been sort of the only one in the group who doesn't have a PS5. And for a while, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't really see the need to get one.
Didn't feel like you wanted
No,
to.
not really.
And it wasn't until he came over to my place once and he tried Astro's Playroom. I made him play through some of Astro's Playroom. He was like, whoa, this is actually pretty good. And so you've wanted a PS5 since then, right?
Yeah, because they're
Now-
looking pretty good, by the way.
Now, Josh sends us a photo a few days ago. And it's a photo he's taken off his phone of, I believe it was Astro's Playroom.
And I was like, yo, you got a PS5? Because I immediately knew what it was.
We almost threw a party over Discord for this guy. We were so happy. And he hopped on Discord and he's like, yeah, we found one really cheap. And I'm like,
To be
How
fair,
much?
I'm not wrong.
no, you absolutely are wrong for what you did. He goes, oh yeah, we found one really cheap. And we're like, oh, you didn't get it off a scalper? He goes, nah, I never got it off a scalper. I paid $950 for it.
Yeah, it's still
And we're
better
like-
than most of them.
We're like, Josh, that was definitely a scalper. He's like, no, it wasn't. We're like, you paid $200 over the retail price. That is a scalper.
Yeah, man, I didn't get it for... at least I have one now.
At least you have one.
Yeah.
But it cost you your dignity because you gave money to a scalper.
Yeah.
You could have spent those $200 extra for 2 new games. Could have got yourself a Ratchet.
Yeah,
Let's be real,
you made
one,
one
yeah.
game, and I could have the rest of the money.
Yeah, true. You could have got yourself a Ratchet, my boy.
Oh, yeah, I don't need Ratchet. Ratchet and Clank is kind of a crappy game.
Alright,
Boys,
get
we're
out
gonna
of
have to fix this boy
I'm
up.
seeing how
Hang on, we're gonna have to
fast
end the
can I get
podcast here.
fired.
We're just gonna have to deal
Okay.
with Josh.
As long as Gladys Berejiklian and the New South Wales Police don't listen to me, I'm gonna leave my 5-kilometer radius from my home right now during curfew and drive up to Josh's
No.
house to fucking punch him in
Charbs,
the
it's
face.
for work.
It's for work.
for work.
Absolutely work
Josh,
related.
it's not personal. It's
Josh,
just
you keep
business.
this in mind.
Business.
Keep this in mind, Josh. I'm closer, and I know where you live.
Yeah, F, but you don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah, Amp, what are you gonna? I was gonna,
What is
Amp's
this
gonna,
podcast
Amp's gonna walk
become?
there.
And I'm just gonna drop Ratchet underneath his door.
There's gonna be like a ratchet, like an actual wrench.
Oh, what? If I legitimately
Oh,
had the
shit.
money right now after hearing that, I would buy like 100 copies of Ratchet and just ship them to your house.
I like the idea of millionaire Charbel fucking with me by getting me things.
Here's the thing, I would not trust myself with millions of dollars. I would fuck with people all day long.
Hey Josh, what do you have? Well, I came home and there was 15 copies of Ratchet and Clank on my bed, so I'm scared.
So, I mean, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but actually, I don't know if we've mentioned it. Have I told you this? Have we said on the podcast how I actually met you two, Josh and Amph?
I can't remember, but I remember it's
I
clear
don't
as day.
Oh, getting the
I
origin
don't think,
story on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we actually have
So-
mentioned it here.
So I started studying at AIE in 2015. I was doing game design and production, and went through 2015. But by the tail end of 2015, my mental health didn't exist anymore, and it was that bad that I just couldn't perform on my projects and things like that. So, come 2016, early 2016, after talking with our head of school and our teacher, they recommended I take a year off and just defer and get right mentally. So 2016 took the year off. Now that was the year they started studying the same course I did. So in 2017, when they went into year 2, I came back and went into year 2 with them. And it was pretty fucking daunting coming back and not knowing anyone. But the first thing I did was I walked in and they had a little sign saying, okay, design class downstairs. I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. And I walked up to Amph and a couple of others and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? I don't know why I did this. And I probably wouldn't have the balls to do it again. But I'm like, hey, what's up? Haven't seen you all of break. How have you been? And Amph just looked at me with these fucking eyes almost popping out of his head. He was like, who the fuck is this guy? and then eventually I'm like, I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm new to your class. What's up? And he's like, oh, thank God. I thought I forgot who you were.
That
And
is
then I
so
tried it on
weird.
Josh, and he,
And I didn't buy it for a fucking second.
yeah, Josh didn't buy it.
I love the fact that I was standing. You did it to me, and you were like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" I was like, "I don't know who you are." And you're like, "Ah, fuck."
Shit. Yeah,
I'm
I
Charbel. And
I
then you
would-
immediately go to the guy next to me who wasn't paying attention and went, "Hey man, how's it going?"
oh man, I would not have the guts to do that again. That was a fun year we had.
It really was. I'm really glad to have met you boys. And in turn, I've met Jack
Oh.
and everyone else. It was... Charbs was the gateway.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like a gateway drug.
Charbs is a gateway drug. He doesn't give you them, he just is the gateway.
yeah.
He is the gateway
As
drug.
for Jack, I've known him since high school, and he was the only person who listened to our podcast week in, week out in the early days. And
I was
then he
like, oh,
just
screw it, I just keep listening to you, I gotta keep you in check, so I may as well join you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that has evened out the numbers. We have 2 coloured people and 2 white people.
So no one else can join.
No one else can join. That's it. We're done.
Poor Dan.
No.
He'll unbalance it in a bad way.
Oh,
I would
man.
like to point out our
uh,
editor is of colour, and
No. He's half colour. Clinton's half white.
Colored.
He's half white.
God left him unfinished. All right.
God was indecisive on what to do with him.
He also has more...
You
he
can
has
be-
more of the...
You can be both.
He has more of the accent than I do.
it's true.
Yeah. Oh man. No, actually, I remember now. It wasn't that you know what I did? I walked up to Josh on the day I met him, and it wasn't that I tried the same thing I tried on Amph. It was I told him my name was Muhammad.
That checks out.
You did say that. You went, my name is Muhammad. Don't you remember me? You started asking me about, like, the assignment that we did last time, like the main work. And I was like, I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry. And he went, oh my god, I'm fucking with you, but you're the first person who's called me out for it.
I remember when I admitted to how I felt when I first met you, and I said to you, man, when I first met you, I thought you were gonna get me in like trouble, man. I thought you were gonna get me in shit like some Phineas and Ferb shit.
Wow.
Wait, how's that changed?
Phineas and Ferb shit.
How's that expectation changed?
Oh no, it hasn't changed.
I was gonna say, what did you
cool.
expect him to do? Just like
Charbs.
he was like, "Hey, F, come here." He's gonna lead you outside, and there'll be a 14-foot building in the middle of the field.
Charbs has indeed put me through some Phineas and Ferb shit.
Well, I did it to Josh as well. I remember there was a corner store that was across the road from our building, and the guy that ran it was from Jordan, and I'm of Lebanese. You know, I'm Lebanese, so like I would speak to him in Arabic sometimes. And there was one time I took Josh with me, and I jokingly said in Arabic to the guy behind the counter, I'm like, "Oh yeah, the white guy's gonna pay for me," and he laughed, and like I laughed with him, and Josh is like, "The fuck are they laughing at?"
Yeah, I remember exactly what I did. I looked at you, I squinted, and went, "What the hell you just said?"
Oh no.
Listen, it's okay if you just ratted me out for something, but I need to know how much danger I'm in.
Oh man,
The zany adventures we've been through with you.
yeah.
I feel like that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good place to stop.
Yeah.
Here's some more adventures.
Hell
More
yeah.
adventures.
Oh wait, I just want to mention it. Some mad lad speedran Ocarina of Time so fast they completed it within Smash Brothers Brawl.
Yeah,
What?
I heard of that.
So Smash Brothers Brawl had a demo of Ocarina of Time, but I think you could only play for 5 minutes, and they beat the game in that 5 minutes.
That's pretty great.
Oh, damn.
Speedrunners are a different fucking breed, man. I do not have the patience to do what they do.
I don't know, man. I've watched like Mario speedruns, like Mario 64, and I'm like, this doesn't seem that hard. And then like 10 minutes later, they have half the game done. I'm like, what happened?
Hey,
I looked away for 2 seconds and you've beaten 5 levels.
I blinked and you did 2 levels. How did this work?
One last thing before we wrap, right? While we're on the topic of speedruns, I watched a video about the Ratchet and Clank speedrunning community.
Yeah.
And there was a video where one of the top, like it was like an American community, and like one of the top speedrunners was like, "Oh yeah, I got it to like, I think it was like an hour and 45 minutes," and then out of curiosity he goes on YouTube, types in Ratchet and Clank 3 speedruns, nothing comes up. Out of curiosity, he translated it to Japanese, and he found a Japanese speedrunner who beat his time by like 45 minutes or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this guy had like done it to use it. He was doing like techniques that weren't known. Like, I don't know, man. Speedrunners are something else.
They're special.
Speedrunners are
They're
something else.
Pretty cool, but pretty nuts.
I want to see the muscles
also,
on
just
their
find
fingers.
a game that hasn't been speedrun yet and just upload your playtime.
I just want to see the muscles on their fingers, dude. Like the way they freaking make the character do the yahoo, yeah, the freaking up like the stairs.
You know what it is? You know those like Chad memes with like the guy on the computer, but he's jacked beyond belief. It's just that, but only
Just
the hands. Of
speedrunners, yeah.
All right. I think we should call it a podcast.
Let's call it before we
pretty
go
good.
off on more tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Known
good.
to do. Alright, everyone. Thanks
So-
for joining us on the 35th episode of the Safe File Podcast. It's been Jack, Charbs, Josh, and Anth. Signing off.
Signing
One
off.
more thing.
Oh,
No,
I'm
I'm
joking.
signing off.
Signing off.
All right, bye.
Can we boot Amph to another like channel?